Hello and welcome to another episode of Metal Effort. My name's Nehemiah and today we're going to be looking at this piece of metal, the Matthew Martin 500 Titanium and Wood, or the TiW. He's got a bunch of different variations. He's a custom pen maker, so he'll have, copper and bronze and zirconium and Timascus and mokume and flame anno, all kinds of stuff. But this particular configuration is just titanium with some desert ironwood. This is clocking in at $395. No, sorry, $295. Yeesh. Not that. $295 is like cheap. Oh god. All right, let's do some size comparisons. This is also a Matthew Martin design, much thinner profile. This is a 50 caliber pen. This is much thinner. We've got our normal uniball vision as a comparison. This is the Kaweco Sport, which is a little tiny guy. We've got a TiW Eco. What else? Maybe just like a normal Sharpie. Give you an idea of that size difference. And then nothing better than just like an actual measurement. So we'll do that. Clocking in at just over 5.2 inches in length. We'll take it apart real quick. Without the cap posted, you're looking at 4.75, it looks like. And then with the cap posted, we're looking at 5.8 inches. We'll get a quick weigh-in. This is with a normal cartridge inside. I'm doing Schmidt Easy Flow 9000 Bold. I think these are discontinued. They're really awesome if you want to buy some. I do recommend them. Clocking in at 1.46 ounces. This really depends on the kind of material you're using. Obviously, titanium's going to be a lot lighter than the brass or the copper ones. I know some of his pens clock past 3 ounces, so the lightest would be like full titanium, which I think is like 0.9 ounces, something like that. So this is on the lighter end, but not the lightest configuration that you can get from Matthew Martin's designs. All right, let's get into the dent, the decent, the excellent, the nitpicks, and the terrible of this piece of metal. First off, in the decent, it's pretty lightweight compared to the other models, like I just mentioned. I think this was pretty easy for me to carry. It wasn't too much of a burden in the pocket, like some of the bigger knives or pens that you could put in your pocket. This was pretty manageable. It wasn't an issue for me. Next is the jimping, and he's using, I think, pretty sure, just like either a lathe, maybe a CNC machine, I'm not sure, but you've got some pretty deep grooves here for the jimping on the actual body of the pen. You do have some included little loops here that you can put down, some O-rings that you can kind of fit into the crevices of this jimping if you want to have something that's not quite so metal and slippery. I think the jimping definitely helps with this direction, the up and the down, but not so much the spinning. It's a little bit slippery if you're doing any perpendicular movements to the knife. So these help for that. If you're into that sort of thing, you can do that. Next thing we want to talk about is this clip. The clip itself works perfectly fine. It has enough ramp, you can get it into your pocket, and it is, clamped down to the body of the cap. It's functional. I'll talk about some of the things I don't like. But overall, it's not like egregious. I'll put it in the decent. It does what it's supposed to do. As far as cartridge options, you've definitely got some cool things you can do here. There's a little spacer in there. So if you want to be able to do like the normal, G2 sizes, you can with this without the little spacer. The Pilot G2, which is confused with G2 cartridges, also fit. So both G2 variances will work. That includes Parker, Schmidt, Foray. Those are all compatible. So that's all you really have to remember for that. Space pens come with their little spacer on it. That's this little thing right here. you do need to have that kind of squeezed on to the space pen. You flip it around and push it in about 3/4 of the way in, which would normally make it for like a clicky pen, like one of these guys. That you'll have on the cartridge, so it'll be the correct length. Otherwise, designs like this would be much longer. So both are totally compatible. Pretty much cover all your bases for the common cartridges that you would put into a pen like this. I have one excellent thing to talk about, and this is what really kind of tempted me into purchasing this pen and biting the bullet and doing it, is this beautiful desert ironwood. It's such a classy thing. When you find it on a knife, that's really awesome, and it's very rare to see this kind of thing on a custom pen. Something I'm very tempted by, just matching certain types of pens with different knives that I have, and this is something that is just gonna be really, really, really classy if I have a pen that also has desert ironwood. This is 100% aesthetic, no meaningful benefit in the use of this pen having desert ironwood. Obviously, it has a warm feel to it. It's not quite as slippery as the titanium would be. There's something to be said about just the texture of it, but I mean, that's maybe 10% of the 90% being just, I think it looks cool. Which isn't really all that useful for a pen. Let's talk about the Nitpicks. First one, there is a glass breaker on the back of the pen here. I could put this in the positive, the decent, that, if you drive your car into a lake or something, you could, I guess, stab your way out of the window. I steer pretty clear of oceans and lakes myself. But overall, I think this is going to be put in the nitpick, because with this glass breaker, you are not going to be able to take this pen on any planes. This will be stopped at the security TSA, and they're going to either confiscate it, or you have to quickly ship it to yourself. Otherwise, they're going to take it away from you. Another nitpick, we're returning to this clip. It's too shallow for me. It's placed underneath the caps like little decorative jimpings here. There's something to be said of, if this is in my pocket, this jimping is going to let me pull out the pen. I think I would rather have it just be a really deep carry. It's a little bit of just a personal preference thing. Maybe I'm in the minority here in the pen world as opposed to the knife world, where I definitely think deep carry is overwhelmingly in the majority. Maybe it's different on the pen, but I still would like this to be deep carry, like most of my pens I prefer to be. So I'm gonna put it in the nitpick. It's not a terrible thing, again, because I can see the logic behind being able to pull this out of your pocket easily with the jimping and having that sticking out of your pocket. So last nitpick is, it's kind of hard if you're like in a hurry to either screw the cap back onto the pen to put it away, or to post the pen. It takes a little bit of doing to find the threads. It's very smooth threads, mind you. It's not like it was done incorrectly or anything like that. But sometimes if you're in a hurry, it might take a couple attempts before you find those threads. And each time they're not aligned and you accidentally bear down on it, you're gonna mess up those threads. So you gotta be kind of careful, take your time, and make sure you do a reverse spin and then the bear down spin. Not a big deal, that's just the nature of threads on screws. It's comes with the territory, but still, it's something to point out compared to other pen types. Last thing we'll talk about in the terrible section is just one thing, and that's the price. And this is something that, is totally up to you. Some people get their panties in a twist if the pen is over $30. We're 10 times more than that here. So I don't know. I think if this was $150, I could probably recommend the pen. For $300, I can't. Do I regret the purchase? I don't know. I think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on that, I think I like the pen, but I don't know if that's so that I don't consider myself an idiot for spending $300 on a pen or not. I don't know. If I'm going to be totally honest with myself, I think it's not worth $300, and therefore it's in the terrible. It is what it is. Maybe that is perfectly fine for you, and that's chump change, and you just like the look of the pen, and that's totally not an issue for you. But it's expensive. I think objectively we can say that $300 for a pen is expensive. All right, let's talk about the conclusion. I kind of didn't bury the lead here, but this is too much for a pen, and this is precisely going to fall into like a guilty pleasure for me, that I just like it. I'm not looking to sell this. I use this for over a month now. There's definitely some wear and tear. Titanium shows some scratches on here. I could get different finish types, but overall, I like having this with me. It gives me an odd sense of confidence just to have like a really awesome, comfortable, luxurious pen in my pocket. For work, I do need my customers to sign things from time to time, and it's just kind of a fun thing, puts a smile on my face when they're writing with it, and it's just like, ooh, this is nice. What kind of pen is this? That you get a good cartridge in there. Like I have the Easy Flow, and it writes so smooth. It's like the Cadillac of pens when you put the right cartridge in there. So there's something to be said for that kind of feeling, that old organic manual writing that is maybe kind of dying out a little bit, probably rightfully so. But ultimately, it's something that I enjoy, and so you have that personal preference combined with just absurd pricing, and this is totally illogical and just a dumb purchase, I guess. But I like it. I do like it, and so I guess I got what I was trying to get, which is a pen that looks cool and is functional and is competent. It definitely ticks those boxes for me. So I like it. Very few people I would recommend it to. I hope this was helpful to you. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye. This is 100% superfluous.